Welcome to Destiny Digits. This is going to be the expression number 8 reading. In numerology, your expression number talks about your potential that you have based on your full birth name. Your life path number, which many are familiar with, talks about an opportunity that you have in this life based on traits that you were born with. And so just like in astrology, how you may follow your sun, moon, rising sign, Venus, north node, in numerology, you have a core chart that consists of 4 numbers: your life path, your expression, your soul urge, and your birthday. And so I'm hoping that you will always have 4 videos, in each series that I post that you can watch. You can watch your life path, you can watch your expression, your soul urge, and your birthday. And if you don't know those numbers, or if you're not sure of how to find those numbers, the links are in the description box. So you follow the link, you plug in your information, you get the number, and then you come back and watch the video in order to receive the message that I hope aligns. Alrighty, so let's talk about 8. So if you have an expression of 8, remember this is your potential. So that means that you have the potential to be a boss, a mogul, right? These are people that material satisfaction is something that really speaks to them. And so when we're talking about energy, we have higher and lower vibrations. So there's always a spectrum where your energy may shift based on experiences that you're going through. And I'm going to have to pause this for just a second. I'm sorry. I got to plug this in. 1 minute. Okay. So material satisfaction, right? That's what you think of. Like 8s produce, and then they have assets to show the work that they put in, their goals, their achievements. These are leaders. These are people that have the ability to acquire wealth. They can lead companies, right? So they not only have mastered their lives and their households, they're not natural providers for their own life, but they can run organizations and be the source for others in a very abundant way. And so when we're talking about that energy spectrum, this is where you battle being goal-oriented versus overly materialistic. Are you establishing goals, meeting them, and then celebrating by, providing yourself with things that just reflect the work ethic that you put through? Or are you just trying to achieve just to consume, and, display materials, not because of something derived in you that you went out to chase and acquire? It's more of a show for others to, almost like a way to show off. So that would be the spectrum. And of course, there are many energies that we'll talk about there in between. So typically I start with Oracle. I pull 3 cards. 4 came out. So we'll take note of the 4th card. This, we have wise leader. You are a beacon for others. It's kind of what we talked about, being a leader, being a mogul, not just in your own life and your own immediate, relationships, but, people follow you, people rely on you. Then we have taking shelter. The answers are within. Lastly, we have wandering path. Enjoy the journey. And then the 4th card that came out that we should take note of, it says unknown territory. You are exactly where you need to be. And so, wandering path, enjoy the journey. Sometimes when we are progressing through life, I'm just going to put this to the side and we will, use it. Let's take note at the bottom. It says surrendering to the journey, release control. And releasing control, because you are leaders and you have the ability to control so much, that can be challenging at times. So when we're talking about the energy of 8s, you're very successful, courageous, influential. big thinkers. You have an idea, you have a vision, you can see it in your mind, and then you can make it manifest. You know how to corral people, you know how to assign duties, you know how to lead, you know how to teach others to lead in their own energy and to achieve just as you do. Now, some of the lower vibrational energies of 8 is, being arrogant, being unavailable, or being a workaholic, letting certain aspects of our life just kind of sit, or neglecting certain aspects of our life so that we can just stay in this niche where we are prosperous, right? At times, greed can be an issue for the lower vibrational energies of 8s. Being domineering, right? So just think of that. And, the situations that we are involved in, the relationships, the peoples, the places that we have surrounding us really sometimes can pull out those higher and negative energies of us if we are not careful to be in control and to be centered within ourselves. Okay. And so there is some type of journey that you are on, and you have to release control. And that is very hard to do if you are not operating in the higher vibrations of self, because you are a natural leader, but you are not giving control to another. This is a divine journey, right? This is a destined mission. And so when you release control, you are allowing the divine to play a role. Next to wise leader, you are a beacon. Oh, these are the numerology cards. So I pull 3 oracle, 3 numerology, and then I do a 9-card box spread with tarot. So when it talks about you are a beacon for others, next to that, we have perfectionist, rude, and moralistic. And so when we lead others, we don't lead them from this space, right? Because we don't want to crush spirits. And so this doesn't have to be an energy that you are in. This could be a challenge for you when you're leading people of all abilities. This could be something that you had to deal with. People who were rude, or people who put you in a box, or people felt that perfection looked a certain way. But as a wise leader, you have wisdom, and you are a light for others. And so if this is something that you had to endure, this is what helped mold you into the leader that you are, because you know what leadership really is. And it's not about stifling the souls, the wills of people. It's about tapping in and teaching them where their gifts lie. Then we have taking shelter, the answers are within. And then we have critical, overly talkative. And so these are low vibrations of 3, and 3 is about joy. This is being very fun loving. And so when Spirit asks you to take shelter, Spirit is telling you that nothing you need in this moment, as you are on this new journey, as you lead, is outside of you. It is all within. And so when I see overly talkative, I think about the people that we surround ourselves with. I think about the feedback and the opinions of others, family, friends, partners, coworkers, and people that at times may criticize us when we decide to pull back. Or people who are too quick to give an opinion, whether you ask for it or not. And so if that's an energy that you have to, go against or resist, I think Spirit is saying, it's okay to pull away. And it's also okay to notice when somebody is genuinely trying to help you, or they're trying to slow you down, right? They really don't want to see you progress. And so sometimes when you pull away from people, or when you change your routine, or when you start doing things differently, if there are some people who don't have your best interests at heart, they won't like that, because they can't see, they can't control, they can't comment, they can't critique. And so sometimes solitude is where you have to go to recharge and to hear spiritually what's next for you. Next to wandering path, enjoy the journey, we have domineering and materialistic. These are two low vibrations of 8. And so I think the message here is to not attempt to control life because you can't, right? And sometimes when 8s are operating in their lower vibrational self, they can dominate situations. They can try to take over in order to dictate an outcome and to, assure an outcome. And so I think Spirit is saying that, this path that you are on, this journey is going to take many turns, and you may not always understand or like what you see. It may not always reflect what you know to be true, but just enjoy it. Go with the flow. Everything that happens is necessary. It's teaching you something, and we are not always in a position where we can change things. And so just embrace it. It will take you many places that are known and unknown, comfortable or uncomfortable. But it's really when you release control that you can really open your eyes truly to everything that is unfolding in front of you. And let's go back to that bonus card. We just talked about unknown and known, things that are comfortable. And, the fact that this is unknown territory, we may try to make sense of it by, dictating or, just essentially controlling things, so that our mind and our ego is at rest. And so that fear doesn't creep in and push us to, try to take ownership. And Spirit is saying that when you get into these spaces that are unfamiliar, that are uncomfortable, instead of putting more of you into it, just realize, okay, this is where Spirit begins and I end, right? I am exactly where I need to be, even if it doesn't look or feel like it, right? And when I am in those spaces that I have no idea what's going on, that's when I know Spirit is really at work in me and also around me. At the bottom of the deck, we have more 8 energy, greedy, insensitive, workaholic. So whatever it is you are embarking on, Spirit is saying that when you try to control things, like, you know what I mean? Those are energies of the lower vibrational of you, right? And Spirit is saying, fear causes us to be in a state of greed. We are unsure if we are going to get what we desire, but when we see it, we'll take as much of it as we can because we're not sure when it'll come around again, right? When we are insensitive, it allows us to only look ahead and to not be swayed by the other things around us, whether it be people or experiences or situations. It's really about control. Like that's just what it is. Even being a workaholic. If work is where we excel, and if we only want to have a life where we get to see ourselves in a space of constantly prospering, then we are going to make sure that we only experience that. So that means we are not going to just work, but we are going to master work. We are going to eat, sleep, drink, and breathe work, right? Because we only want to experience this. We are trying to control every aspect of our life, even if we're neglecting other things that are vital to our growth. And so those energies, if they creep up within you, if you've heard feedback from others that describe you as that, the best thing you can do is to surrender and realize it is a journey. It is supposed to look different and feel different at different times. And we really are powerless in a lot of ways, right? But this is really about you aligning yourself with the design, with the divine. And yes, you are a natural leader, but to be a wise leader, to have true wisdom, means that wisdom is acquired many times through hardship, right? But it's through all those stories, all those moments of discomfort that really help you lead others out of it, right? You will know how to lead others because you made it out. So now I'm doing the 9-card box spread using tarot. Okay. I know you can see these cards. Okay. So we have the devil. We have death. We have 3 of swords. 8. This is big energy. And this is energy that, we'll talk about it. So the middle row talks about our current reality and kind of like what we're going through. The bottom row will kind of tell us the baggage that we brought to this situation, things that could be hidden from us, things that we don't really see. It's in our subconscious. And then the top row talks about like where we're headed, what spirit is suggesting us to do, or what we're thinking about, or just the next step in this journey. All right. Okay. So we have 6 cards on the table. And out of the 6 cards, 4 of these cards are major arcana cards. And so that tells us, here's another one. That tells us that like my whole energy just shifted. I just feel like I just came down a little bit. Not in like a, it just, yeah. So whatever's going on right now is major. And when I say major, I'm saying that, after this experience, after this shift, life won't be the same again, right? These are major life energies. The journey of the suits, those are kind of everyday energies. But when we pull out the major arcana cards, these are massive shifts in our life that really open us up emotionally and spiritually. It shifts our perspective. It leaves a mark on us in some kind of way. It gives us a message that we can't really ever forget. And sometimes it's those messages, the ones that leave the deepest marks or the wounds, that give us a story to tell in order to help others free themselves. Another major arcana card. In order to help others free themselves from experiences that are similar to yours. So I just talked about being a wise leader. And we said that sometimes wisdom comes from hardship, right? And if you are a light for somebody else, it's because you made it through the darkness, right? And the way you made it through the darkness is because you went in and you found your light, right? And once you find your light, you can lead others and teach them how to find theirs. At the bottom of the deck, we have 2 of Wands. So this is the energy of surveying the land, of envisioning what it is you want to see, and, cooperating with self, taking your passion, taking your energy, and then applying it to the life that you want to see created. This is where you're brainstorming what to do with you, right? This is about adapting. This is a shift in your energy. This is a shift in your space, led by you. This is something that you had to grow to. Yeah, you have a desire to do something different, to do something new. You have a vision for yourself, and you desperately are going to, you're ambitious, you're naturally determined. So this is something that you are going to make come about no matter what. And so that could be the journey. Okay, so at the center of the deck, when we're doing the 9-card spread, the card in the center kind of sets us up. So in the center, we have the devil. And so the devil it literally feels like something dark and heavy in our life, right? This could be, something that's hard to release, something that holds us down, something that burdens us. This is just something heavy, something we can't get free from. It could be something toxic. It could be a person. It could be a place. It could be a job that is just not fulfilling. These could be addictions. Sometimes we use substances to self-soothe. We are our own doctor and we prescribe ourselves all kinds of things to heal. But nonetheless, what sparked this journey? What sparked you growing into you was something that seemed dark. We talked about being your own light, and so when we see darkness arrive, this is when you know that it's time to take shelter and go within to find your light, because you have to make it through. And these cards are not unique only to you. Everybody will experience these energies in their path. But this is definitely a space that you are currently in or progressing out of, or have recently overcame. So the good thing is that before we get to this toxic energy, whatever that is, right, you'll know. We have the death card. And so death is literally death, something leaving, something ending, some type of, and this could be something that you initiated. This could be something that surprised you, but this was definitely something that had to happen. And so this is some type of transformation. And after the devil, we have heartbreak. We have the 3 of Swords, something that has left, that has pierced and wounded our heart. And so I just reading straight across, there was something toxic that we were tied to, that we couldn't free ourselves from, that ended. And it had to end. Death had to come to this devil energy, because it was wounding our heart. It was breaking us. It was taking the best parts of who we were. And so there is a massive energy of healing happening here, right? Massive energy of healing. Yes, so transformation had to come in order to free ourselves from what was breaking us emotionally. And heartbreak is not just emotional. It literally consumes your entire existence. You lose energy. You can't think. You lose your appetite. You have no hope. So when we're talking about heartbreak, we're really talking about a full body experience that we have to work our way through. And so Spirit is asking you to take shelter and to go within. Don't be too critical of self or of whatever this situation is, right? So that's so much easier said than done when you're not in it. Two things. We have overly talkative and critical. So I think that Spirit is saying, when you are going through this energy, sometimes you just want to you want to get through it, right? But there's always a bigger picture. There are points in time where you have to kind of like zone out, like you have to, rise higher so that you can see why this took place, and why people, places, or things played this role in your life. And so, as unfortunate as it is when you are enduring these types of energies, they are really happening to grow you into whatever the divine mission is for you. These things are necessary. And like I said, everyone experiences them, maybe not all together in like one time, but you have the power to endure. And so if this was something massive that is happening or did happen, like, even if it didn't feel like it, you were built to withstand this, right? So don't be too critical of yourself. Don't be too critical of the experience. And if you are lost and if you don't know where to go next, if you are unsure of why this had to happen this way, Spirit is saying, like, step away from the noise. Avoid talking too much to others about this experience, because that won't bring you peace. It is through solitude that you can find the missing pieces. It is through solitude. And once you find that space alone, that's where you tap into the power that you have within. And that's where Spirit can help you fill these wounds, answer these questions, and help you rebuild, right? So before we got to the point that we had to take shelter, we were on this wandering path, right? And that was the energies of being domineering and materialistic. Now, beneath the death card, we had the moon. So the moon talks about secrets, things we don't know. And so I feel like there were things that you didn't know. Secrets, something hidden from you. And those secrets could have related to the Six of Pentacles energy. And so this is about, giving and taking in a very balanced way, right? And so something, and this is tangible, right? We're talking about earthly things when we're talking about the pentacles, right? So something was hidden about, and I'm just thinking you're the 8, right? So you're abundant, right? You have the ability to grow, to nurture, to manifest wealth. And so if there were secrets around something being taken from you, I feel like Spirit showed it to you through the sun. The sun is about happiness and it's about joy, but it's also about shining the light, and it's total opposite of the moon. The moon doing things at night, it keeps things hidden, right? We can't see as well in the nighttime. But when the sun comes, all is revealed. And so I feel like something devilish was taking place when we are talking about giving. It's about your resources, right? So was someone taking from you? Was someone abusing you? Were you in this space of, and then we have the energy of being materialistic here, right? And we talked about as an 8, like you're goal and oriented. And so when you do acquire wealth and you love nice things, right? But sometimes if we're on the lower end, we are just getting these things because it fills, a superficial space within us, not because it represents the drive that we applied to our life to acquire these things. So nonetheless, something was out of balance, but it was hidden from you, right? In terms of giving and receiving. And those secrets experienced a death. They came to light. The sun revealed something, right? And there was something toxic happening in this in this Six of Pentacles. Six talks about love and responsibility, but it can also talk about self-deprecation, like feeling like a martyr, like, sometimes people taking advantage of what you're giving them. And of course, you not knowing that. So you're giving to people, you're giving to situations, you're giving of your time, you're giving of your energy, because you feel like, it's what you love to do. But nonetheless, something was revealed to you, and whatever was revealed to you by way of the sun caused this energy of the Three of Swords, which is like, betrayal, heartbreak, loss, grief, like shock. And so once this was revealed to you, once you found out that it was almost like you were somehow involved with a devilish energy, a very toxic energy that you were feeding into, or that was feeding into you, it had to end. And I don't know if that's by your will or just natural. It was just time for that cycle to come to an end. Like once the light came, and once you realized what was really happening and what you were involved in, or with who you were involved in, or somebody giving your resources to another. I mean, it could be anything, you'll know. So death had to come to this situation, which is not a bad thing, especially when we're talking about death to the devil. But it did cause some kind of heartbreak, because it wasn't something that you were aware of. It wasn't something, if your heart is broken, it's because you were invested in something in a very authentic and true way. And when it breaks, it's because you realize what you thought was true, or what was true to you, was not true to the other party, situation, or experience that you were tied to. And so if this is the current reality, Spirit is saying, don't be too critical. Don't talk about the situation, because then you kind of feed that energy. Go within in solitude, right? And it's this wandering path. This path took you to a place. And that's what Spirit is saying. Enjoy the journey, even when it takes you to these places of defeat. Somehow you have to enjoy it, because it's grooming and growing you, right? So we're on this journey. Something is revealed to us. Something had to come to an end, and now we have to heal. And the best way to do that is through being alone and working with Spirit and getting all the answers that we didn't know, or don't know, or haven't received. This is where we go to get them, within us, right? And by doing that, this is what begins to transform you into this wise leader, this beacon for others. Because what you are enduring or have endured, somebody else is going through this, but not everybody else will make it. Not everybody else will acquire wisdom from this experience, and it's because you did. It's because you acted and responded to it in a way that would have protected you. Not everybody has the strength to do that. But it's your ambition and it's your determination that got you through. And so that is what you need to teach. That is what you need to show others that they can also do when these experiences come about in their own life. So now we're at the wise leader. We're at the top row. We have the hermit, and the hermit is the solitude. It is taking shelter. It's going in to find answers. It's being a hermit. It's turning off the outside world and really tapping into the world that lives within us, right? And it's that intuition. It's the world within us that helps us better navigate the world outside. So after the Hermit, we have the Five of Swords. So this is like the energy. It could be defeat, it could be loss, or it could be winning at all costs. Right? So this doesn't have to be negative in any way. I mean, beneath it is the devil. So, to conquer and to win over this devilish energy is a beautiful thing. But let's also consider that we could have been going within because we were dealing with someone in a toxic energy that was essentially defeating us, right? They wanted to see us lose. They were taking from us. They were abusing us in some way. And I say us, but I'm talking about you, but, empathy. And so we're going within to find the answers to this Five of Swords energy. Five talks about change. It talks about freedom. It can talk about, a restless energy. And so, whether it felt like a loss, a defeat, or whether this is you winning or conquering this type of energy, it creates this change. But most importantly, the change is within you. And this takes us to the Magician. This takes us to understanding our own power and our own potential. And, when you deal with people who really want to see you down and out, it can teach you how to harvest and how to harvest and tap into your gifts. But it can teach you how to do this alone, right? It can teach you that everybody is not for you. Everybody doesn't want to see you succeed. Everybody is not happy for your success and your abundance. And, something being revealed to you that breaks you. And then we have this Magician energy. This is you learning your own power, right? I feel like the Magician, negatively, it can talk about manipulation. But when you become the Magician in your own life, I feel like it's you understanding, that if people can misuse you this way, if you can offer yourself to others, and if they can misuse and abuse you to this depth, right, to this severity, what can you do when you use your gifts and your resources for just you? What can I create when I only focus on me? Right? So I think it's like this is a layered situation, but that takes us to the Two of Wands that was at the bottom. So like this is where you are envisioning something. You just come from something that has taught you something major, right? And you survived. And now it's about planning that next phase of your life where you will never experience anything like this before. And that's what pushes you into that wise leader. And so this is a journey. And so Spirit is saying that it is these situations where the divine is available. And these are the situations where you relinquish control, and you accept that this is a journey. This is not, the devil experience, the Three of Swords, the moon. This is not the end of me. I just looked at the Magician, the devil, the moon, just in a straight line like that. And I feel like, somebody was in secret wishing harm upon you in some way, like just really wanting to not see you succeed, like just not being for you. Jealousy and envy can really push people to want to take you out because they don't possess what you possess. But it's also these situations when we face those type of people that reveal to us what we possess, and then we know we need to protect it. then we need to know everybody is not worthy. Everybody doesn't value us, right? And when you survive this, you have a story to tell. And so this was unfortunately hurtful, painful, but it was necessary because you have to lead others who may not know their strength, their potential. They may not know how to see their way through and overcome. And so when you look at life, like, in totality, and you kind of, like I said, like gain new perspective and look at these situations from above, as you progress further and get further from this experience, you start to get those aha moments that help you connect the dots, right? But when you're going through it, nobody has time to hear that, right? So 8's the great, the mogul, the leader. I think that you are understanding the value of self. And I think you are understanding how to invest in yourself in a way that is not superficial and materialistic, right? Because sometimes if you are materialistic, then guess what type of people you attract, right? So all that power and potential that you have to acquire and to lead and to grow and to create, it needs to come from a spiritual base and not a worldly thing, right? Right? Because our gifts have come from spirit, not from the world, but the world will definitely take from you. And the world can be people in relationships. It can be places, things that places where you like to go and invest, whatever. It could be anything. But I think that this is where you get to take what you've been through and you get to envision a new life. You get to take your passion, your energy, and you get to work alongside spirit, and you get to create something in your life that reflects the depth of who you are. And I think it teaches you to lead from your strength as opposed to leading from, unfortunately, greed, or just, not relying on work and things that you acquire as your true value, understanding that you are more than anything that you can tangibly touch, buy, or have. Like, it's everything inside of you that acquired that is the gift. It's not what you spent. You know what I'm saying? Like you are the prize. In nakedness, with nothing, you are the prize. And sometimes people will misjudge you and try to take advantage and abuse you because they see you as a resource or an asset to elevate them in their own life. Right? Like you are just like a walking commodity and they want it by any means necessary. They want what you have, but they don't understand what it took for you to be this leader, this mogul, this CEO, and even if those are not titles that you have, like you don't have to be running companies, but it's just the power within you that you possess. It's just something in you, that is not available to all. And this is the potential. This is your expression number, expression 8. This is the potential of what you can create in this life. And even if you haven't created it yet, it's already in you. It's there. It's already there, even if it hasn't manifested in the 3D. This reading was a little bit longer, sorry. But the moral of the story is, even in unknown territory that is dark and scary and it may seem unfair and tragic, you are where you need to be. As crazy as that sounds, you are where you need to be. And it served a purpose, even if it's not apparent. This life will take us many different places. And when we are lost, when we don't know which way to go, when we are confused, surrender and go within. Okay, eights, I hope something in there was helpful. Take care.